This is one heck of a diagram. Chris Newman, Truth and Consequences. Let me walk you through it, because in this diagram I bring together quite a few other features we've been discussing, and I call it the model of the context of human three-blessing reality. You and I live in the physical world. The first blessing, second blessing and third blessing I've covered previously. Personal maturity, relationship, expansion and development relationship. The third blessing is the extension into the living world of your creativity. I put those within the Garden of Eden, being this beautiful earth, the planets. If you're Elon Musk, we can include Mars in here. And I've noted here on this vertical central axis the human stages of growth, because we grow around a centre, and the centre is our purpose, our heavenly purpose. So the central axis for humans, remember this is our three-blessing reality, is the truth, love and life qualities expressed through those three blessings: a personal, social and global, you might say, your little global world. And I've said that there's an axis which rotates, because we move through time, space, circumstances, thoughts. We move through a whole cosmos of realities, microcosm, macrocosm. And I put that central axis there on what I call the ground of being. Somehow everything settles on a ground of being. The ground of being is the place where all things happen. Now that could be in the physical world right now, it could be in the spiritual dimensions, it could be within your imagination, it could be between you and another person in a relationship. The ground of being is an essential part of existence. But where does that come from? Where does the ground of being arise? Well, I've given that a go, and I'm calling this the original standard of being, or of value, is the lens through which this ground of being comes into existence. So the original standard is an expression of the source code. Those who know about computers know that all programming has to have a source code. Same with all existence, there is a source code. And I've called that source code a point of arising from within the origin and source within God himself. So within the being of God is a source of origin, and from there rises up the source code through this point of arising, which is then expressed through the lens, or the original standard of being, of value and being, and that gives rise to the ground of being, which then gives us our existence. I called this field here, for those who are into this kind of language, sub-singularity. That'll give you something to sit down and think about for a while. The sub-singularity of the creation, from which arises the point of being, which is the singularity, you could say, and then we rise through the lens, or the focus, or purpose, and so on, the original standard of value, ground of being, and then into this human world, and then into the cosmos. This is a very useful model, because it renders a whole lot of very complicated discussions and thoughts into a pattern where you can actually see how they all fit together and make sense. And so you can find yourself, your level of accomplishment within the human stages of growth, within the Garden of Eden, within the created world, and so on. And so we go round and round. And I believe it all makes sense. And the context is important. The context is the setting. And that setting helps us make sense of where we are. If you don't have a context or a setting, you don't know where you are. So I'm in a boat at sea. Oh, okay, but where am I at sea? Am I in the Arctic cold seas or Antarctic, or I'm near the tropics? We need to know where we are. I'm on the land. Oh, are you near the coast? Are you near the mountains? Are you in a jungle? Are you by a river, by a stream? Are you on a rocky promontory? The setting has a great deal to do with where we are, our circumstance. So I've put this all together, and you're welcome to engage with me through the responses, through subscribing and addressing these questions and bringing your thoughts forward. I do appreciate input, and the purpose of this particular diagram is to integrate all those other ones that we've seen around your presence, my presence on earth, and where we fit in, and where the origin is, and where we're headed. Thank you for your attention and interest. Chris Newman, Truth and Consequences.